Jai Hind, Namaskar. In this video, I am going to discuss about the diversification strategy, which comes under topic 4, that is corporate level strategy. Before I come to the diversification strategy, let us try to understand that uh, how the business organization should remain for the longer period of time or be sustainable. So for that, they need to have growth. So for the growth, they have different options. One option could be that they are expanding the market. So maybe they go to the international, or they have the options to diversify their product. So let's see one by one how it affects the business organization. Earlier, what was happening, if I talk about the US market, most of the multinational companies of US, they were thinking that the mantra for the business growth is to look for the international market, and especially they were going to the China. So what the companies were doing, that what the business model they were using in the US, same model they tried to use in China. But what happened, that some of the business organization uh, could not implement the model they were using in the US, and they become failure, or they could not be much successful in that market. Some of the business organization, they could modify their product as per the requirement of the culture, and they became successful in that. So like we can say that we can take the example of McDonald's. They what they did, that when they entered into the Indian market, they modified certain products. They were knowing that the culture of India doesn't support the eating of beef and pork. So they modified their product, and they offered product like Mac Aloo Tikki Burger with a mashed potato patty, and the Mac Puff, which is a vegetable and cheesy pastry. In China West, McDonald's outlets, a favorite drink is bubble tea, which is tea with the Topeka balls in the bottom. Unfortunately, many of the large US companies are pulling out of China because they did not modify, or they could not understand the culture of China, or they could not adjust their strategy for the requirement of China. So we can take the example of Home Depot Inc. They closed all the seven of its remaining Chinese big box stores in 2012. They started with 12 stores through an acquisition in 2006. Unlike the US market, the Chinese consumer is far more interested in finished goods and paying someone to complete a project than they are doing it themselves. So the IKE struggled for years in the Chinese market until they began offering assembly and delivery services. The DIY, do it yourself market does not appear to translate well into some cultures, even if we can take the example of China. If you take another example of Best Buy, they closed all its nine stores in 2011 after discovering that Chinese consumers were far more interested in appliances than its predominantly entertainment based product line. Best Buy experimented with a small sized appliance store, but eventually decided to pull out of China completely and focus on their North American markets. Here, we can take another example here, that Yum Brands Inc. had over 7,100 restaurants in over 1,100 cities in China in 2016, following its business model, much like McDonald's, but modifying the approach, which is selling fast food to its market. KFC sells egg tarts and soy milk in China, while not offering those menu outside items outside the Chinese market. So that means they could understand the Chinese culture, and they could serve in the better manner, and they became successful. So that is why we can say that global success is a function of many different elements. Some businesses that are wildly successful in their home country will not find an easy path to growth in international expansion. That means the same model if you are using, and if you are trying to expand your market by going international, so always it cannot be successful. So just I am trying to tell you that always expansion of the market is not going to work for you. So sometimes the diversification is going to work for you. So what is diversification? Let us try to understand. So first of all, if you go to the meaning of that one, so diversification is a risk management strategy that mixes a wide variety of investment within a portfolio. So we can take our example as well, that when we are investing our money, we do not invest our money in one particular asset only. If you are investing all your money in a particular asset, and due to certain reasons, if that asset is not growing or it is not giving you much profit, so you are going to lose. So that is why we used to minimize the risk by investing in the different assets, so that in the future, if something happens to one particular asset, other assets are going to perform, and you will be getting profit and you will be able to survive even. So the how the strategy is being defined, just let us try to understand from the Richard Rumelt. He used to suggest that companies begin thinking about diversification when their growth has plateaued and opportunities for growth in the original business have been depleted. We can also understand by the product life cycle this stage. Like a human being, the product life cycle has also four stages: introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. Okay, so in the introduction stage, the business organization has introduced a new product, and that time the huge investment they have done it, and the business the customers are not well aware about that particular product. The second stage is growth stage. In the growth stage, the business organization's product is selling. That means that is being accepted in the market, and the sales is increasing at the increasing rate. So here what happens in this stage, the business organization, though they are earning profit, they are getting revenue. At the same time, they have to invest in the same product so that they can meet the demand of the customers. The third stage is maturity, when the business organization's demand is increasing but at the decreasing rate. This is the alarming stage for the business organization, because the further the next stage is decline. So in the maturity stage, the business organization, they have expanded their market. That means for example, if they in the US, if it has reached to the maturity stage, there are some developing countries that product may be in the introductory stage or the growth stage. So you can find the opportunity. So there you can sell the product. So that way you can do it. So but the other option we have, that we are going to diversify our product. Okay. So the two options we have about the diversification strategy, one is concentric and conglomerate, and both require very sophisticated management techniques in order to keep the elements of the company moving in relatively same direction. Concentric or related diversification. Here the growth through the concentric diversification into a related industry may be a very appropriate corporate strategy when a firm has a strong competitive position but industry attractiveness is low. That means here you are going to diversify with your related products. Okay, so here the research indicates that the probability of a succeeding by moving into a related business is a function of a company's position in its core business. So if you are in the core business, it is likely that you are going to be more successful. So for companies in leadership positions, the chances for successes are nearly three times higher than those for followers. So here, by focusing on the characteristics that have given the company its distinctive competence, the company uses those various strengths as its means of diversification. Okay, the firm attempts to secure a strategic fit in a new industry where the firm's product knowledge, its manufacturing capabilities, and/or the marketing skills it used so effectively in the original industry can be put to a good use. A firm may choose to diversify concentrically through either internal or external means. We can take the example of Electroflux. Electrolux, for example, has diversified externally globally through the acquisitions. Another is unrelated diversification or conglomerate. Here, the business organization feels that the current industry is unattractive and the firm lacks outstanding abilities or skills that it could easily transfer to related products or services in other industries. So, the most likely strategy is conglomerative diversification strategy into an industry unrelated to its current one, rather than maintaining a common thread throughout your organization. This is also a good strategy for a firm when its core capability is its own excellent management systems. We can take the example of Berkshire Hathaway is one of the best examples of a company that has used conglomerative diversification to grow successfully. Founded by Warren Buffett, the company has more than 60 companies in its portfolio, including Benjamin Moore, BNSF, Railway, Fruit of Loom, GEICO, and Seas Candles. But apart from this, here the sometimes in the business organization, the diversification strategy evolves. So we can take the example here by seeing one caselet here. So we can discuss about the culture that in this company, the diversification strategy has evolved. So based in Winnenden, Germany, Alfred Culture GmbH and Company KZ is a family-owned company and a market leader for cleaning equipment and services. In 1935, it began as a small engineering office that developed and marketed product ideas in the field of heating technology and grew with its niche product, high pressure cleaners. In 2013, Carcer surpassed its Euro 2 billion turnover mark compared to 1.3 Euro billion in 2009, with 12.5 million machines sold. In 2015, it showed a new record with sales totaling to Euro 2.22 billion. The company went through a period of stagnation after Alfred's death. In 1974, to turn this slump around, Carter shifted its strategy by focusing all its resources on its core competencies, developing and selling high-pressure cleaning equipment. Former CEO Roland Kahn was inspired by the example of Galapagos finches, which were similar in size but had different size and shaped beaks. According to English nationalist and geologist Charles Darwin, this was a result of geographically isolation with different species developing from ancestral finches. Based on this example, Kam approached Karcher's high-pressure steam cleaners as the ancestral finch in a then unsegmented market. Karcher's growth had stagnated after its core product had gained large share. However, like the birds that had evolved and adapted with modified beaks, a differentiation strategy would solve Karcher's cleaning problems. The company's new vision, statement, and motto was Karcher's cleaning is our business, and it was now a solution provider that meets the cleaning challenges of target customer group. So this is very important here. We can see that just they are now the solution provider. In the 1980s, Karcher chose to enter the consumer business with a new product, a portable pressure washer. It created a new market and became the leading manufacturer of cleaning equipment for homes and cars. It also led global cleaning projects. For example, in 2005, Karcher was chosen to clean Mount Rushmore National Memorial. Karcher products successfully removed organic dirt that would have damaged the momentum in the long term as a result of biocorrosion. By 2006, it addressed the cleaning needs of target customer groups and sold about 2,500 products, most being sold to private households. So here by this we can understand how diversification strategy of the business organization can have and they can minimize the risk. I have also added one article related to the diversification strategy of a business organization. So you can go through that one and definitely you will be able to understand in the better manner. Thank you so much.